Hi, welcome back. Today I just want to explain a little more or go a little deeper into the song Mercy Said No and what inspired me to write the song. As I was saying before, it was after the death of my friend who committed suicide that I was sitting at the piano and thinking of his death, thinking of what it felt like, the hour that he decided to take his life, how depressed he must have been, felt, the emptiness he must have felt, the feeling of giving up. Have you ever felt that way? You ever felt empty, depressed, felt like giving up? And as I begin to just think of that moment that he was going through, that many go through, because we all probably know someone who's been that depressed that they felt like taking their lives. And I thought, or I felt pain for how he must have been feeling during that time of helplessness. But it was while I was thinking of it, and while I was trying to imagine that moment, the words began to come. The inspiration began to come. And I began to hear this chorus over and over. And just gonna play a small piece of it, of what I heard that day. This is what I heard that day. Mercy said no, you can't have her. Mercy said no, he's not yours. He gave his life on Calvary because of stripes I am free. Stop right there for a second. That because of Calvary, it hit me. In that moment when I was thinking of my friend, I was sad, but all of a sudden I began to rejoice that he gave his life on Calvary because of his stripes. You know, the stripes that Jesus bore for you and I, how they beat him, and they beat him, and they beat him, and they beat him, and they beat him. He who sinned not, they found guilty. And they beat him, and the Bible said that he bled. It says that he bore the stripes for you and I. Stripes, the webs, the cuts from the lashes that he took over and over and over and over again. And then they nailed him to a tree and hung him high. But on that tree, he said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Goes on to say that 3 days later, after he died, 3 days later, he rose from the grave. And that authority, right? Gave him all power and all authority to come in during those dark times of our lives and say, no, 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 no. Thank you for mercy. Thank you for mercy. Thank you that mercy said no. Yeah. That's where that came from. I began to worship and just thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you for your mercy. Thank you for your grace. Begin to thank you. And that's where that came from. But then something happened with that song. Oh, something amazing happened. And I'll tell you how it went. So I took the song and I put it on my phone. I recorded how I thought it should sound, what I thought it should be like. And it just so happened my daughter came home. I came back to live with me and my wife. And my daughter was in the household and she had been going through some things in her life. And I had been praying for my daughter and her safety and praying God would work a miracle in her life. And my daughter happened to be in the house. And I was at the piano and she was walking by and something said, have her sing this song. And I'm thinking, oh, she's not going to do it. You know how kids are. We ask them to do something and they don't want to do what we want them to do. They want to do what they want to do when they want to do it, right? But I asked my daughter to sing this song. And I gave her the words. I said, here, baby, just sing these words for me. And I began to play the melody. And she opened up her mouth and began to sing in the sound like an angel. Sound like an angel was singing. And I began to tear up. And emotions began to rise in me. Sound like an angel. And I had her sing it again. And I recorded it this time and had it on my phone. Well, weeks later, I was at my job late at night. How many know about night work? There's day work and night work. Who knows about night work? So I was on a night shift at my job, and someone asked me, a good friend of mine asked me, do you play any instruments? Because we were talking about music and our lives. And I said, yeah, I play a little bit. And he said, well, do you have anything we can listen to? I didn't want to share it at first. You know how it is, you got something and you're kind of timid about sharing it because you don't want your feelings hurt. You don't want anyone to look a certain way at you. Well, me, I don't consider myself a fabulous piano player. I consider myself as still learning. I'm maybe from between beginner and intermediate. I might be an intermediate piano player. Well, I'm not advanced, so I don't have the advanced chords. So I was like, I have something here. And something inside said, man, let them listen to it. It's late at night. They'll never remember what they heard. So I let them listen to it. And one of my coworkers said, that's good. That's good. You should do something with it. And I said, really? He said, yeah, that's really good. And that began to resonate in me. That's good. It began to ring in me. You should do something with it. So I reached out to a good friend of mine, Dennis Atkinson. And if you don't know Dennis, you can find Dennis on YouTube. He's on Facebook. Dennis Atkinson. Uh, Dennis was actually did he was a part of the Super Bowl. I don't want to say the incorrect thing, but he was part of the Super Bowl. I believe it was the national anthem at the Super Bowl. And he was also part of the World Games, where he conducted the orchestra for Lift Every Voice. That's Dennis Atkinson conducting that orchestra. But I reached out to Dennis and I asked Dennis to listen to it. And shortly after, Dennis responded to me. He said, "We should do something with this." Now, Dennis says we should do something with this. Then maybe we should do something with this. So I gave it to Dennis, and Dennis has his degree from Berkeley College. So Dennis, he's an advanced piano player, and he has the education, and he took what I had. He took my little chords that I had put together, and God inspired him to produce what came out. And so he shared it back with me. And after I heard it, I said, my God, is that what you were saying, Lord? And so it was amazing how this song went. It began to grow. Because as we collaborated on, it should take this turn here, and it should take this turn there. There should be more expression in the song here, less there. And it was finally recommended to bring the Budapest Orchestra on this recording. The Budapest Orchestra, look them up, 75-piece orchestra. You will hear playing on this orchestra. You'll hear the violin, you'll hear the strings, you'll hear the French horn. Oh, the French horn. I used to play French horn back in the day. Back in the band in high school, I played French horn. What a beautiful instrument the French horn is. When I heard the French horn, I got chill bumps. My Lord, I have a French horn on this recording. Blew my mind. Well, we went into the recording studio to record this song. And the background singers that were selected to sing, they were doing a phenomenal job that night. And I remember a voice standing out. It was after, we come to the end of a run, of a verse, and this voice stood out. And she was just messing around, but it was just so beautiful. And I asked Dennis, because I didn't know her at the time, I said, "Dennis, who is that?" And he said, "That's Jacinta Muse." I said, "She's got a beautiful voice." And it was another gentleman and with the background singers who I just met that night as well. His name was PJ Owens. And me and Dennis began to collaborate that evening after they had all left. And we agreed that PJ and Jacinta would do a phenomenal job on this selection, Mercy Said No. And sure enough, we reached out to them and they embraced the opportunity. And oh my Lord. Dennis, getting emotional now, but Dennis kept saying to me, he said, "Man, this song is going to scream for more. It's going to scream for more and more. We got to give it what it's screaming for." The song called out for the Budapest Orchestra. Then the song called out for Jacinta and PJ.